All right, guys. So this is episode 5 of our podcast, League Watch, with Gunner and
What
Bilal's
up? What up?
co-host.
It's good.
All right, I'll just kick it off with the biggest sport event of the world right now, the World Cup. Uh,
Sir.
think we sh- I think they start off with the biggest news: Argentina versus Saudi Arabia. Uh, Biggest upset in basically World Cup history. Argentina ranked number 3, while Saudi Arabia was ranked number 51. Uh, yeah, let's do the takeaways. Bilal?
Basically, Argentina has been like everyone's World Cup favorite, including mine. Like if you listen to the last episode. So in Saudi Arabia, like everyone expected them to finish dead last in their group, not even tie a game to lose all three in the group stages.
Mhm.
So that game was they were their tactical strategy was pretty nice. They were playing their defenders high, and
Mhm.
basically that's what they call like an offside trap, and that's what happened to Argentina. Argentina scored like 4 goals in the first half, and three of them were called back because it was called offside, and one of them was a PK. So
Yeah,
their
I
strategy,
saw that. Yeah, I saw like in generally in the first half, Argentina looked like the dominant team. They were basically attacking way more than Saudi Arabia. In fact, I saw something interesting that I didn't realize. Uh, Saudi Arabia had 0 goal attempts in the first half, right? While Argentina, they had those two that were redacted, the two offsides. Also interesting, and then also Argentina had 70% of the possession, so they were. It seemed like they were in control of the game, like almost like the whole time.
it seems like one of
But
those games where if you play it out 100 times, Argentina's going probably like 97 or 98% of the time.
mhm,
So it's just like everything had to fall in place. And then Saudi Arabia, they scored two bangers. Like the
mhm.
second goal, I don't know if y'all saw it. It was from basically at the edge of the box.
Oh
He
yeah,
evaded two defenders and hit it top right corner. So it
yeah.
was
It was definitely
cool.
box office for sure. Like that was a good shot. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm not too worried for Argentina on their group stage. I think they're still gonna qualify for the next round. It was
Are
just
they?
interesting.
That's a
I,
tough question though,
I just think that
because
they're gonna qualify.
they have 2 games left, and then they have Mexico and Poland. They have to face Mexico and Poland. And Saudi Arabia, that win was crucial since they already have 3 points, and
Hmm.
they can afford a tie and lose their next 2 games.
Hmm.
Argentina has to win out, basically, in my opinion.
I mean,
They can't.
if it comes between Mexico and Argentina, I think Argentina has the better chance.
Oh,
Uh,
Argentina should win every game, but like
yeah,
we've just been seeing in the World Cup, like Poland and Mexico would be considered way better than Saudi Arabia before the tournament started. So anything can happen in the next 2 games. I still think they're gonna make it through, but
hmm,
like alarm bells should be going off.
yeah. I
So
mean,
who
they
are the
might
two
take a little
teams
bit more serious.
that
Yeah,
you
go
think are
ahead.
gonna move on if it's not like Argentina? Like say if
I think
they
I think Argentina's gonna move on, but it's gonna be now. I think Saudi Arabia is gonna make it through because they just need a tie to get 4 points, and
Hmm.
I think Saudi Arabia and Argentina are gonna get through.
yeah, I was just gonna add like if you look at the stat sheet to Sam's point, it's like they had 15 shots, 6 on target, 70% of possession, and they had like 596 passes to their 266, and overall the
Yeah,
pass
like
actually was higher. Like everything they out
it
outdid them in
like on
statistically.
paper,
So
it looked like seriously one sided. So Argentina
I mean,
especially
maybe.
for me as someone who's not like into soccer at all, like I'm the most casual going this, so I'm not gonna have much to say. I'm just gonna look at the stats, and like you mentioned below, it's like 98% of the time they're gonna win. So it was just one of those freak matches where it didn't go their way. So it's really interesting to see from like a casual point of view, like how they still lost this game. And for me, it's like Messi's on that team, so you don't think they're gonna lose to someone like Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, yeah, and I think Messi was like, he was being aggressive. He kept attacking. He had, I'm not sure how many shots attempts he had himself, but just overall the team, like they seem like the aggressor, and like
no,
Bilal says, just one of those games.
the game could have been completely different because like the second goal, one of the goals Argentina scored that was called offside by Lautaro Martinez.
Hmm.
After the game, they were reviewing the VAR, like the offside pictures and everything. I don't know if y'all have seen it yet, but
Yeah,
the referee apparently when he was like trying to figure out the offside, he compared two different players. He compared the guy who scored the goal to the wrong defender. So
Mhm.
like in that picture, he was offside. But if he compared him to the right defender, it would have counted as a goal. So
So
that
basically,
I
he
was
mean, how
completely botched the call.
yeah. So that was a big
I mean, how do
controversy
you
after the game.
feel? I mean, how do you feel about this technology? Because wasn't the first game with Qatar and Ecuador, like wasn't there an offside too that a lot of
Yeah,
people that
the first
that
goal.
was kind of,
So
yeah,
apparently,
the
like
first goal.
I didn't know about this about the offside rule. Apparently, there has to be there has to be what do you call it? You can't be offside if you're between the goalie and the defender. So in that case, like he was already past the goalie and the
Hmm.
defender was in the back line, so that's what they counted offside. It's kind of confusing, but
Oh,
yeah.
okay, but so it was the right call then, right? Versus the offsides with Qatar and
Apparently, but like watching it live, like some people are still questioning it, so I still don't know. It's kind of confusing,
Mhm.
but like
Yeah, yeah. I was
but
watching a
this
couple
World
of
Cup,
videos of it, but yeah, it's the technology that a lot of people are kind of like bringing into question, because like they're not missing any offsides calls or like any close ones for this World
that's
Cup.
the thing. Like this World Cup, they're using brand new VAR technology. It's like they
Hmm.
haven't used this specific technology yet in any other leagues in the world. So we're seeing what it's about. So we'll see. We'll see if it affects like games. Like obviously, it's gonna affect games down the line, but we'll see it like to the degree it affects them.
But isn't that better technology because things are open to review? No.
I mean, they still nowadays they sort of review it. It's just like the referee's judgment because like VAR, like they can use it to like see if there was a foul before the goal happened, and they'll disallow the goal. So it's like it might be too powerful, but we'll see.
Gotcha.
But
Yeah,
it,
it's
me,
just it's just basically people trying to keep traditional versus like new and up and coming technology. Like there's like new technology being introduced, uh, what's it called, every year to like the NBA or like the NFL, like new ways to like review fouls or like anything like that. And I feel soccer, they're trying to introduce that same level of due diligence where they're not going to miss any calls or leave it up to like interpretation, because there's been several past World Cups where some goals were controversial or uncalled goals, but we'll see how people
I think
take
my overall
take.
stance though, when you're implementing technology, especially, I just think of baseball media. It's for the better because as human beings, we're
Mhm.
bound to make errors in everything, and especially in sports. So I feel if they can find the right combination of using human judgment and then technology as to review and to be accurate and make a double check, then that's great. But implementing in the World Cup and this big of a stage is kind of interesting in the sense of now you want to be testing now when you could have tested it earlier in
Mhm.
just in different leagues and not in this gigantic global setting. So
another thing, like in general, I don't like the offside rule in football like at all. Because if you're even like a finger or a hand ahead of your defender, closest defender, it's called offside. And I feel like the margin is too thin. That's why it's like so controversial every game when something like this happens. When it's like margin where the blind eye can't see it, but VAR sees it. I feel like
Mhm.
it should only be offside if your whole body is ahead of the defender. If
Yeah, I
if you have
definitely
like one
agree
if you have
because
one body part that's aligned with the defender, I feel like it should not be offside.
yeah, because the
I
first
feel like that
offside
would
was like a foot, like literally a foot, like not even a
sometimes
full
it's in
foot.
inches. It's like it's too close to
Mhm.
call, and that's why I don't agree. I don't like the current offside rules, but I don't think they'll change it because it's been like that forever. But I
so
feel like,
besides
oh sorry,
no, you're good. I was just gonna say, besides Argentina and Saudi Arabia, is there any other games that have occurred so far within the group stages that have either like surprised you in the sense of
I,
matchups and who's projected to
well,
win?
for this one, not surprising, but just how good France looked versus Australia. Um, they just look like crazy good. Mbappe, he's playing like lights out. He did miss a couple of easy goals, but overall, like France as a whole, they're playing really good. They beat Australia 4-1. Uh, and then if you look at the stats, France took 23 shots to Australia's only 4 shots. But yeah, they look good, and I think they're the team to beat right now.
Are they the overall kind of favorite going
I
into
mean,
this? Like,
I feel like Argentina and Brazil are. are favored better, but France are the defending champions, and there's a defending champions curse. Like winning back-to-back World Cups, I don't think it's ever happened. So that's
Mhm.
one. And two, France has their own curse since like 2002, where every time they win a World Cup or they do well in their tournament, they do horrible the next tournament. And then three, they've been like riddled with a bunch of injuries. It's they're missing Conte, Pogba, Karim Benzema, who won the Ballon d'Or as the best player in the world recently. So,
Mhm.
but France is the thing with France is like they're always been stacked with talent. Like last time they won the World Cup, they could have like Benzema didn't even wasn't even on the team, and so this is that's how like stacked there. So I feel like there's it's them, Brazil, Argentina, and I feel like Germany's the sleeper. Those are the favorites in my opinion. England has the talent, but we'll see if they choke or not because they dominated their first game 6-2. We'll talk about it later, but yeah,
Yeah, I thought when Qatar lost, I thought they were just going to close up shop and be like, all right, we're done. We're going to be like, we're not
Yeah.
hosting this anymore, which would not be a bad thing for the rest of the world.
nah. After the
Making it
first goal was disallowed, I was like, something shady's going on here, bro. This
a
slide,
lot of shady, a lot of things are shady going on in
this
Qatar. It's just
slide,
because it's Qatar and
some
it's
money.
FIFA, so it's a bad
Yeah,
combination.
yeah.
Mhm.
So speaking on the FIFA and Qatar relationship, y'all want to talk about the? Have y'all looked into the armband controversy?
No, I just know they can't drink, and that's a crime in itself, right there.
Yeah. So the armband controversy is like before the World Cup started. Numerous football associations said they were going to wear like a One Love armband because in Qatar you can't. It's, they're against homosexuality, etc., and all that. So,
Mhm.
so those One Love armband patches. So FIFA like warned them beforehand that you can't do that, and like a couple of days before the matches began, they said they were going to sanction them. They're going to give players yellows if they wore the armband, and if teams did any sort of protest or gesture regarding that subject. So I don't know. It's just another instance of FIFA like bowing down to money and doing
Mhm.
whatever these like countries want them to do.
Yeah,
Like
because
the
because didn't Qatar didn't they like also make promises that they were gonna allow people to wear like whatever they like want to the games, right? Like if they wanted to wear like a rainbow shirt and all that. And then
Qatar
as soon
made
as that
a
happened,
yeah, they made a
yeah.
lot of promises. When they first got the bid, everybody knew they bribed them, but they said
Mhm.
the World Cup was going to be in the summer, and like about 6 years ago, there's like, oh, we can't do it; it has to be in the winter. So that like
Mhm.
messed up the schedule of all the other leagues. And you've seen this year, like so many players have gotten hurt before the tournament started because the schedule is so compressed. And then
Mhm.
before the tournament started, the day before they banned alcohol, and then they like outlawed the armbands, and like, it's super petty because like the Belgian national team, their away jerseys, they have like a inscription in the inside of the jersey set that just says "One Love," and
Mhm.
FIFA's like, "Oh, Belgium, you have to remove that from your jerseys." It's in the inside
Oh,
of the shirt. You can't even see it. So that's
Think
how
of
that's
like
petty they are.
crazy.
FIFA and Qatar as like every modern politician. That's all it comes down to. They make
Yeah,
a bunch of fake promises and then they take it back and they say they never said that. It's just, I know at the end of the day, it's all money, and I don't mean to get political, but it's just really interesting to me that Qatar, I guess money is everything, but they like want the whole world to come and like see their country, and then they're like, no, you can't do this, can't do that. And I saw like an interesting clip of like a Danish like newscast like doing the
Mhm.
news in Qatar about the World Cup, and like people came over and like you can't be filming, and the guy's like, you invited us to here to like host this global tournament, and like you have a problem with us broadcasting the news. Like it's
Yeah,
just interesting. It's just a mess.
it's just it's really putting the like guitar in like in a really bad light, you know, after all those false promises and all that, and it's uh and like FIFA can't really do anything about it because everything is already set in motion. You know, they build all these stadiums, and
Well, FIFA
a
is
lot
not
of
like a good organization
no,
either.
no,
They're the
no, of
most
course not.
corrupt
no, they're
like
both
sports
terrible.
organization out there. If anything, any professional sports
Oh, and
organization, they're easily the most corrupt.
Sam, they built the stadiums, right? Yeah, this is they took advantage of like low income families and people in different
Yeah,
countries.
yeah. I heard that they
Got them,
had
got
like an absurd number of death rates
yeah.
with construction workers building those. Like it's sad. to think about, and that this organization just, like turns the blind eye, and just allows that. And I don't know. I felt like this the right to host the FIFA should have been revoked a long time ago, especially with all the investigations that went on or that they attempted. Because I think the FBI was supposed to be involved, but I'm not sure how much like investigating did they end up doing. But
I don't know if anything's
yeah,
gonna happen, but like
yeah.
Saudi Arabia's in the bidding to get the 2030 World Cup, and if they get it,
Mhm.
like y'all know what's gonna happen. So
I thought the U.S. was next. I thought North America bid was
no, U.S. is
For
2026,
okay.
and
Gotcha.
then
Yeah, yeah.
Saudi Arabia is in the running for 20.
2030. Okay, great. Any other games we discussed after getting a little political on a sports podcast?
I guess USA. I mean, Bilal, what you how does the USA team looks like
USA,
this year?
baby.
Bro, that first of all, I want to say I know that the youngest team probably in the tournament right now, but
Mhm.
like they should have beaten Wales because Wales is just okay, a bunch of okay players and like the corpse of Gareth Bale out there. And USA realistically could have lost that game because Wales dominated the second half. That was a clear cut penalty with Bale. And then at the end of the game, the US keeper came out of his box. He was like 20 yards out of his box. Gareth Bale got the ball. He's about going to shoot over him, and the US did a tactical foul, and they got a yellow. So that was the game. But yeah,
Yeah,
they have
I
Yeah,
England.
that
mean,
almost gave me a heart attack at that end right there. That scared me.
I
it
mean,
looks like they just like they were never like really in control of the game. I'm looking right now as the stats, and they only had six shot attempts to Wales seven, so they were like basically like pretty evenly matched. Shots on target, only one of them were on target. So, um, do you think that USA is in trouble then?
no, it's not trouble. It's like I didn't really have that much them high expectations of them in the first place. Like
Hmm.
realistically, they have Iran and Wales to compete with for the second spot, so they can get it. But
Hmm.
we'll see. Their next team is against England, and reports came out today that Harry Kane might be hurt with his ankle or something. So we'll see.
Hmm.
But I still expect England to win that game. And then the US, yeah, it's all going to come down to US or Iran.
Yeah. Okay, and then I think that's the games that I want to talk about. Oh, do you want to talk about England dominating Iran with the 6-2?
Uh, you could say like their young players came through. Saka, Grealish. I don't know if Grealish is really that young anymore. Sterling. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's the future of England coming through, and the team played well together.
Do you
But
consider England going to be like a sleeper, sort of how Germany is, or are they kind of like
and I feel like Germany's
in the
more of a
front end?
sleeper because England did make the final last time. They have
Hmm.
they have an extreme amount of talent on their team, and they're all young. Plus, like they have a
Hmm.
good mix of veteran and young players. They're all extremely talented. Like realistically, you could look at England's roster and say they're the most talented roster in the World Cup.
Okay,
So yeah,
all right, it's
they're
gonna be fascinating.
they like nobody would be shocked if they win. I mean, they haven't won the World Cup since they won one World Cup. It was in 1966. That's
Hmm.
why like English fans like every year they say it's coming home, but it never does. So we'll see if it comes home this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think this World Cup, overall, we're in store for like a lot of surprises, a lot of uh, maybe upsets. Who knows? Because with Argentina, like you said, that was alarming. So yeah, so definitely something to keep an eye on, for sure, for sure. All right. So shall we transition to the next segment then?
Yeah, I just want
Or
to say one thing. We talked 19 minutes about soccer, football, and Gunner. You're back, baby.
Okay, I'm tuned in. Are we
well,
talking about NBA? Here we go.
well,
You got my attention now.
I wanted to kick things off with the NBA with just like a short Rocket segment.
And you lost me.
I know.
I'm just kidding. Go ahead, Zem.
I mean, the first thing that I just wanted to bring up was Coach Silas' future with the Houston Rockets. There's been a lot of talks. I don't know with management or not, but with the fans in general, that if Silas' job is secure for this season, or he might get replaced this season or not. What are your thoughts, Bob? Do
No,
you think
wow. Why
that?
would you replace him this year, though? He's a tank commander.
I mean, that's what people are saying. I mean, it's either we just lose just for the thought of losing, or or we
I
try to
mean,
get
you
a
either
coach
you
that.
you either hurt your young development or you try to get Victor Wembanyama. It's like
Mhm.
you try to get Wembanyama.
Bro, you flipped
I
your
mean,
script. You were all about keeping Silas, and now all of a sudden he's be like, he's got to go.
Nah, like
oh, I mean,
I think he's a horrible coach, but I think the
uh
organization's not going to fire him.
yeah, I don't. I think he's safe for at least one more year, or maybe 2 years, considering depending on how he does next season. I think that depends because I think having another lottery pick and if management doesn't see any major improvement in the win loss record, then I think he might
I mean,
lose his
this
job.
this year's the last year we have our like own pick for a while,
Mhm.
so we have to like get a good player, and then we have to change coaching staff, and we'll see.
I mean,
But
Sam, you weren't
Silas,
really expecting anything from the season. Like I,
no, he
as
was because Sam's fucking deluded. Sorry, Sam.
Damn,
Smith, this man thought we were gonna make the play-in, and
man.
I
Bro,
told him we were gonna be one of the worst teams in the league.
no, we
I
talked
said
about this.
I said we'll be more fun, but we'll still be one of the worst teams in the league.
Sam,
And we're
you said
not
on the
both.
pod. You said on the pod you guys were gonna make the play-in turn. The Rockets were gonna make the play-in. You can't pull out of that because I remember that. That's
But
on
I think I
record.
said there's a
Hey, whoever's
possibility.
our editor, roll back the clip. Roll it back.
This man's
Oh,
our editor. Sam's our editor. You might have just taken that stuff out. We don't know.
Hey, we
Yeah,
lost
I'm
the
gonna just
clip,
delete
bro.
it. It's
Yeah, it
lost
was
footage, right?
corrupted. We lost it.
No, but
It's lost footage.
Silas insists on playing the fucking HEB employee Dacian Nix every game, but
I mean, he. I'm not lying to you. Deshaun Nix has kind of like not.
nah, bro, don't even say kinda. That's
Stop
disrespectful to
defending.
real NBA
Stop
players.
defending.
This,
No, I'm saying that he
this
hasn't
man,
looked as
uh,
down bad like
nah,
compared to the start of the season.
Dacian Nix is a bona fide scrub. I'm sorry, but there's no other way about it.
No, the thing that
He can't
what I like
dribble.
about him is
He
that
can't
he's a
blow by
bad.
his defender.
Oh no, like he's
He
slow.
can't do a layup.
I kid you not, he has the same dribble package as EG.
No,
But
that EG has a way better dribble package, bro.
no, I
And
saw
that's
him
saying something. Knicks can't
I saw
even
him
dribble one plays, bro.
against the Warriors. He did the same exact like crossover that EG does, like between the legs 3 or 4 times, and then he tries to. But
Nah,
this,
it's so slow, bro. He like dribbles the ball for 16 seconds, and he's still in front of his defender, and he can't blow by anybody. And
I'm just waiting
and,
for
and
Tai Tai to come
he's
back.
and Knicks is a supposedly great passer. That's how he plays. Like every game, he has a nonchalant turnover where he just like throws it to the other team. He has like
Yeah.
multiple turnovers like that every game, and he's a zero on offense. There was literally a possession last game where he got the ball, he passed it to somebody. He got the ball, he passed it to somebody. Like
Yeah, I mean,
right away.
is he a pass first point guard then? like that's
Sam,
why
I
he
think I have a
meshes
better
well.
dribble package just because I can dribble left-handed. So I think
I
that's
mean,
what.
it's like this dude. I think the reason that he's a different take than KPJ as the backcourt is that he is a pass first point guard. I don't know if that's by
That's all
choice
he
or
can
not.
do. He can pass the ball. He can't even do that lately, bro.
I know, but yeah, I mean, my hope is that
He's
Tai
literally
Tai
doing
being
cardio out there, bro.
just
Like,
cardio,
I
just
wouldn't
like
be
cardio.
surprised if he has an Apple Watch mid game. He's checking that shit for steps, bro.
He started the basketball activity before the game started. He's like, all right, here we go. Basketball activity. 3,
Like
2, 1, go.
mid possession, KPJ is dribbling down the clock. He's like getting double team. He kicks out to Knicks. Knicks has just got his time to stand up notification, bro.
He's like, oh, I closed my rings. Okay, I can get on the
Yeah.
bench now.
Pretty much. My hope, because like Tata has been playing lights out in the G League, is that he comes in and replaces Knicks, because I think Tata is a better guard than Knicks.
Yeah, Tata is a better passer. He's a better handle.
Better handle.
He runs the offense better. Yeah.
And like Tata, he's quick with the ball too, so he's more athletic than Knicks is. So
and he can get separation, which the Knicks can't do.
no. So that's my hope. I'm not sure how long they're gonna keep Tai on the G League, but
he should be back already. He's too good for the G League. We already saw it.
Oh yeah, he made that nasty crossover. This nasty, like Harden-esque. Like he looked at him, drained the three. It's beautiful.
Like Tai should be back, and then Josh Christopher. Like I guess they gave up on him, or Silas gave up on him because he doesn't even get minutes.
Silas made a comment that who knows if it's true or if he's speaking out of his ass, but he says that he told Christopher that he was going to try different rotations, but that his time will come with increased minutes. I mean, we are already seeing Garrison Matthews. He's barely seeing him playing time in the last three recent Rockets games, I think, which I'm all for. Garrison Matthews just did a crazy decline. Uh, so
I
I
mean,
think
he was
he
never
should.
like a great player. He just had a hot streak, late in our 7 game winning streak last year.
True.
I don't even
And
think we'll
then
have that this year. So
no, I don't think so. I mean, I think he's still an above average 3-point shooter, but nothing like crazy that improves our rotation like drastically. So I'm just happy that he's finally seeing less minutes. Um, so that's good. I think the next point that I wanted to talk about is Tyree Eason, the steal of the draft. Every game that I see him, man, this dude just balls out, man.
no,
Like,
yeah, Eason and has probably been the steal of the draft so far.
mhm.
Like even Draymond was like applauding him after the game, saying he's gonna have a long career in the NBA, and he just
Yeah,
hustles for offensive rebounds. And even if he gets blocked, he keeps going with the play. And he
mhm.
has like the most confidence in himself, and like he has the energy, and he plays great defense. That's what you want.
Oh, for sure. He's that. I'm okay with starting Tyree Easton, but the fact that he comes off the bench with the second unit and brings that spark, a lot of the times it's him with the second unit that makes that Rockets comeback. I think they were down by 17 against the Warriors, and it was the second unit that brought the Rockets back. And
Yeah.
just Tyree Easton, I love seeing this guy holds. He's like the like a younger version of Tate, just on the defensive and just like a bulldog.
I
Uh,
feel like he's better than Tavia.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Just
Like
like in terms of like defensive leader that.
like we were talking about EG getting traded. It feels like Tate's out of the rotation too. He might get traded too.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, which brings me to like the second point, like Bruno Fernando coming back, how that's gonna affect the
Oh, brother.
the the rotations because LP, even though like he defensively he hasn't been like as good as I hoped in the most recent games, offensively he's still like an anchor. So I'm curious to see
I,
how
I'm
he's
telling
gonna
you,
affect.
Fernando's gonna come back if he's gonna get the starting spot. And like,
You think so? I mean,
yeah,
there's talks about LP moving from the 5 to the 4. I'm curious to see how that look long term.
no, LP,
I
no,
mean,
just keep
he's
him at the 5, bro.
yeah. So
Like
it's curious because it's just gonna shift a lot of rotations when Bruno Fernando comes back.
they're talking about moving. Garuba is another one. It's basically his
Hmm.
rookie year this year, as they said in the
Yeah.
broadcast, and he's playing
Hmm.
really well recently.
Oh
And
yes, like for
he's
sure,
earned a
for
spot in
sure.
the rotation. And there were talks about him playing at the 4 with Shingun and Fernando. So we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, if our front court just gets larger, because like I'm glad that we're not seeing small ball as often, or like not at all, I guess, compared to like in the previous years. But yeah, so we'll see how that works. And then I think the last Rockets point on our segment, Jabari Smith, he looks a whole lot better. Uh, he like it looks
Yeah,
like his confidence building up. His shots are landing for the most part.
I feel like he
His
had his best game of the season for sure, but he needs to
mhm.
do it consistently before I start believing in him.
Yeah.
Like, that's
I mean,
all.
for me, I don't need him to go score lights out. I don't need him to be draining crazy
No,
threes.
just play great defense and hit your threes. That's like
Yeah, just be
his
that. Defensively, he looks a lot more like a lot more commanding for sure. His
yeah.
rebounds are going up. His defensively, I think he can hold he can sit on the chair and hold his own.
He still
So
has a Stanley Hudson dribble package, but we'll see. Let me see.
yeah,
Let me see.
but I mean, he doesn't need to have those handles. He's not
No, I feel
that
like
good.
unless you're a center, like everybody needs to be like show the threat that they can drive by you. Yeah,
Mhm.
he hasn't had that in the NBA. So
Bro, I
we'll
don't
see.
even know. Centers have like handles now too. Like
Yeah.
it's just crazy how the NBA has evolved. But I'll just add my 2 cents, Sam. I think
Yeah,
I think Bilal, correct me if I'm wrong, but like Rockets are gonna suck for like 2 to 3 more years.
yeah,
Y'all will get rid of Eric Gordon. Y'all might make a few more trades, build up that young, solid foundation, bring in a veteran player who can properly lead them, bring in a proper head coach who can properly utilize their skills and abilities, and then we can start talking playoff contention. But I think right now, y'all are gonna
Yeah.
suck for a
That's probably
couple
the
more
timeline.
years.
Yeah. I don't even think we're gonna be that much better next season, even with Scoot or fuck, what's his name?
Imagine we might not even get them, bro. We had the worst record last year. We had the third pick, so
I mean, honestly, but so yeah, that's a rocket so far. Let's move on to the next topic.
Let's talk about our boy Grim Reaper KD being blasted in the
KD.
media, things out of proportion. All right, everyone knows. I know we're a little late because we're recording later, but I think this article was completely blown out of proportion and just taking that one quote of, "You see our lineup? I'm playing with Scrubs, Nick Claxton, Royce O'Neal." And this man just wants to play ball at the end of the day.
it
I
was
res-
basically like can't win with these cats. That's it.
Yeah,
It's
but
already
like
happened.
I think also it's like that's totally 100% fact. But also it's like, what do you want me to do with this lineup? You think I'm gonna go forward
Mhm.
with this lineup? And I think that's completely
No,
fair of
yeah,
him to say.
everybody knows he's right, but like they just don't expect him to say it.
He's just saying what we're all thinking. He doesn't need the burner account anymore. He doesn't need to be. He's just gonna say it front. He's like, which camera? Which this camera? Okay, yeah, we suck. Like that. He's just shooting it straight. And like
Yeah,
I think you can appreciate that.
Which
yeah,
was
they
which
just
was like in full
like they
display tonight.
demoralizes like they just demoralizes like the whole team in general. Like if I'm his teammate and I'm hearing like, okay, our best player or quote unquote like the number one player in the world is like basically is giving up on the season, then like, what's the point? And if I'm like the Nets management, I will honestly start considering like, okay, like looks like KD, he's basically clocking out. He's just gonna
Nah,
clock
nah,
in
you
and
need to read it
hoop.
because Katie said he's not frustrated. He said he's happy with where he's at. He's liked the challenge. He likes, Kyrie and
No,
Ben are kind
but
of
like
in and out.
the Nets had no picks, and then like apart from the ones they got from the Sixers, but KD and Kyrie it's shown it hasn't worked. Like at which point do you like start to move on from them?
Yeah. And would you argue that are they maybe worse off than they were in the previous 2 seasons that they were there?
Oh yeah,
Like
they're definitely worse off if they
Yeah,
gave.
their roster this year is awful.
so I mean, I think there should be serious talks with Nets management. All right, should we blow it up? Try to get some of our picks
I mean,
back? Should we?
they tried that in the offseason, but trade market was too crazy. The Nets, no team was willing to give the Nets what they thought KD was worth. So we'll see
They were
if
asking
they
for the Earth, Sun, and the Moon, basically.
yeah. So
Mhm.
we'll see if they lower their expectations or what happens. But
I
yeah,
just want to
tonight.
circle back to the article in the sense of like, I
Mhm.
usually don't defend KD, and I'm not very like vocal when it comes to players' opinion. Like, let them speak what they want to speak. Like, did he take a shot at players saying like, this is my lineup and yada? Yeah, he did say that. But I think early on in the article, he's saying like, I want to win, and the stuff that we were doing in the offseason was not helping us win. He's like, I don't want to do shoot arounds. I want practices. I want to work out on closeout drills. I want to work on X, Y, and Z. And he's telling Nash this, and nothing's being done. So I think it was a nice inside look of what was actually going on from his perspective. And I think the media just took that one quote he said, put it on their caption just to create buzz and people to look at it. So I think he definitely created some valid points. And I do agree with you guys in the sense of it really isn't working, even with Ben Simmons performing a little bit better, not worth what the 35 million that they're supposed to pay him or something ridiculous. But
Hey, he went 2 for 2 from the line in one possession today. So he
hey, he
proved
did.
it.
He said, "I'm 2 for 2." Jordan shrug. Here we go.
Oh yeah, he was like shrugging after hitting both free throws, and then he
You know, a little
silenced
hush.
he silenced the crowd after missing a layup, getting his own rebound, and putting a putback layup up. So good for Ben Simmons tonight. He overcame a lot of obstacles. It's a big night for him. So congrats. But
Mhm.
the Nets still lost to the Sixers without Embiid, Harden, Maxey. And they
Yeah,
were
I
at
mean,
full. The
That's
Kyrie's back
crazy.
too, so they're full strength. So
I
the
mean that's
Nets,
just signs for trouble right there. Like clear as
I,
day.
I think we can officially put the stamp on the Nets that the Nets are ass. So yeah,
I
they
think
should blow it up
for
soon.
the Nets, it was a really bad look to lose against them so shorthanded. But I think personally for Ben Simmons, it like getting his confidence back, and if like whatever he's doing the Jordan shrug, he's hushing the crowd and doing this shit. Like if that's gonna help him get his confidence back and just be a good player wherever team he ends up going, whether it's with the Nets though, or if he gets traded out, good for him. Maybe we can see him at like an all-star once again. But it's like
No,
a step in the right direction.
Ben Simmons is that guy at pickup who's like 0 for 10 the whole game. And he hits a layup, and your team's already down by like 8 points, and he starts like clapping down the floor and trying to hype everybody up. It's
At
like,
least he's playing, bro. Like I really thought he was gonna pull like a fake injury last minute and
Yeah,
not play in this game, but he
yeah.
played in the city of brotherly love. He
apparently
played.
they need an extra police presence tonight for Ben Simmons.
Oh
So
man.
And then Charles Barkley talking about he's wearing a bulletproof vest under
oh
his
yeah,
jacket.
I saw it. Yeah. But another thing I want to add on in the NBA, like Ben Simmons is playing, but guess who's not playing? Kawhi Leonard. He got hurt again. This is a right ankle injury, so Dr. Glass can officially switch from AD to Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah,
Wait, so the Kawhi like returned to a game? I didn't saw that he.
he was
He
playing.
like plays like once like every like 7 or 8 games for a couple minutes, and then he gets hurt again.
Oh damn. So
Yeah,
y'all,
yeah.
so y'all still want to trade him?
What?
Yeah.
I mean, no, he's their best shot at winning the ring.
Oh my god. But if he's not playing, I mean,
Okay,
yeah,
but Sam, what are you gonna get for him?
I don't know, a couple first round picks. Like,
There's there's no market for him. This is what we try to say. This is what we mentioned in the previous episode. There's no market for him because he doesn't want to go anywhere, and nobody really wants him because of the injuries. But he's too good to trade away once he's healthy. It's just that type of scenario.
What are the Clippers gonna do with those first round picks, Sam?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think they're gonna be contenders if Kawhi keeps missing games like
No, but
left and
like
right.
if Kawhi gets healthy by the postseason, they're automatically contenders again because they're winning without him. So
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's just a gamble, and
They're 11-7 without him.
I see the point of not
They're
trading
fourth
him.
in the West.
Yeah.
All right,
I mean, it's just tough. It's just tough.
And wait, hold on.
Kawhi.
And Sam, I can't believe I'm saying this. You don't even care about Kawhi. You don't even care about AD. Last time we brought this up, who'd you bring up in this conversation? Who'd you bring up?
I don't recall. I don't recall.
I'm not gonna say it for you. I want you to say it.
We specifically have a segment this week for Sam. Sam, you want to take it away?
Take the
Okay,
mic, Sam.
so it has come to our attention that there's been a little friction between Coach Kidd and Christian Wood with not getting the playing time that he thinks he deserves. I personally think that he is being shorthanded with his minutes. As far as I'm aware, he hasn't started yet for the Mavs. But what do you guys think? Like, do you think that his like lashback is fair, or you think like there's like a little bit of overreaction between the minutes?
16 games so far. There's already friction between Wood, bro. 16 games. But he's playing less than 25 minutes a night. And Kidd, clearly in his press conferences, you can tell Jason Kidd doesn't like him. So, and even in the press conference, Kidd was like, you don't just get minutes, you have to earn minutes. And he was like talking about being excited that Maxi Kleber was coming back. So we'll see. But like Mavs fans are tired of it. They want Christian Wood to play.
Yeah, I mean, I think like with my unbiased opinion, I think Christian Wood has been playing pretty well for the Mavs. Like he's been putting good numbers.
You can't say your opinion's unbiased. You can say your opinion, but don't say it's unbiased.
Okay, my biased opinion. I think Christian Wood has been playing pretty well for the Mavs. He's been super efficient, even with like his limited minutes. I think I think the most he cracked was 25 points. I mean 25 minutes for the Mavs maybe. But if he can be that spark off the bench and help them, he can. I know the Mavs are struggling a lot more than I realized. I had him as my favorites on the West, which is kind of sad to see how.
Yeah, that shit ended real quick, huh?
Yeah,
he's got no. I mean, like it's the same story as last year. He's got no help.
It's basically like early Harden.
I mean, pretty much. Like Luka has to play lights out, and if not, then they're screwed. I think that was the one game against the Rockets. The whole starting lineup had like 20 points total, 25 points total. The whole starting lineup. So it just shows how without Luka, the Mavs starting lineup looks lost. And I don't know what moves they can do to get another ball handler that can run the offense.
I mean, there's Spencer Dinwiddie, but and Hardaway, but they need another star.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that the Mavs are going to be one of those teams that are going to make some noise before the trade deadline. So I'm curious to see what moves they do. I'm not sure if they own any picks or not. I haven't looked into that, but I think they're going to be very active on the trade deadline. So I'm curious to see what they do.
So is Woods like frustrated with his minutes as a whole too? Because we're talking about how like Kid doesn't like him and he's performing well, but he's still coming off the bench. Like what I'm trying to ask is like, you think he's the second best player on the team? Is my question.
Mm, I think he plays well with Luka as the pick and roll, and he's very efficient with his threes, which allows to space the floor for Luka. Uh, so he can stand at the 3 point line when Luka drives. Luka can kick out. So I think he meshes very well because the whole point when Christian Wood came to the Houston Rockets was to play with James Harden. He would have been the perfect partner for James Harden. That James Harden can drive, he can do his Euro steps and kick it to Christian Wood to shoot the three. And Luka, he's very Harden-esque with similar skills and assets. So I think like I want to see more Luka and Wood minutes together. Whether he starts or not, it's not really my concern. Just as long as I want to see them playing together, like a lot more minutes.
Just want to see
I
a
gotta
man
see
Wood
how
on
many
the
minutes they
court. I
play.
respect that.
Yeah, I mean,
The goal of this podcast one
I,
day is to have him on as a guest. And I think it's possible if you just keep talking about like this.
Bro, he can take my place in the podcast for that day. Like, I won't miss much, bro.
I mean, is that not a fair assessment right there?
No, it is. It is. For
Right.
once, it wasn't as like dramatized as I thought it was going to be going into this when we gave you the stage. We were a little concerned, but I have to agree. I agree. I think he should at least try to be a starting lineup and get more minutes because I saw him play against the Suns at Footprint, and he played well. He did. So I don't see why not.
All right. Enough about that bum. Let's talk about the best team in the NBA.
Man.
Number one offense in the NBA. Light the victory ring, baby. It's the Sacramento Kings.
Yeah.
Y'all are kings to me. All right. It's a fun team. What are they right now? They're like third in the West. They're 10-6. They're tied with the Suns.
Number one offense, bro. Kevin Herter playing like Clay, prime Clay.
Buckets, redhead buckets dropping out there.
De'Aaron Fox, Sabonis playing well together. I mean, they traded Halliburton, who's like one of the best young point guards in the NBA, but they're still balling out. So
was that a win-win trade? Because what did they get from Halliburton? They
got
Sabonis.
I feel like right now it's a win-win, but like long term, maybe Halliburton and Fox would have been better. But yeah.
And I know Halliburton, he wanted to stay, and he was hurt when he got traded.
No, yeah, Halliburton like bought into the Kings culture, so the fans are like really hurt. And he got traded.
Yeah, but I mean, I think right now it's a win-win, and it's just like really exciting to see him play, and they're playing good basketball. Like they're playing against competitive teams and like winning. It's not like they're playing the Rockets for 7 games straight. They're playing competitive teams. So
I mean, do you think that they're the biggest surprise of the West?
Yeah,
right
easily.
Yeah.
We all thought they were part of the tank conversation and are going to take for Victor. It's the same thing with the Jazz. I think Jazz and the Kings are the two most surprising teams in the league, speaking for both Western and Eastern conferences.
Yeah, do the Kings own their pick for this season? I mean, for this year?
We're not sure. They might have Indiana's pick, but we'll see.
Okay. Yeah, check. They're on a 7-game win streak. Yeah, damn, that's insane.
Yeah, they won tonight. They beat the Grizzlies. Ja at the end of the game. Did y'all see that clip?
No.
He jumped up. I missed it.
No, Malik Monk was like shooting free throws to give the Kings like a 3-point lead. Ja came back and he was like trying to like get in his head, and Malik drained both of those free throws. And then at the like the next possession, Ja got fouled on the 3, and he had to hit all 3 to tie the game, and he missed the first one, so he psyched himself out.
I got Malik Monk too. Damn.
Yeah, they got a lot of vets: Malik Monk, Harrison Barnes, Herter, Sabonis, and Fox. And then they got Keegan Murray, the 4th overall pick. So they got good young players.
It's a good mix, and I like the way Mike Brown is utilizing that team. I just put on notes early Coach of the Year candidate because that's the only one that's really making the best out of situation and actually being like a true coach. Like he has good players like Fox and Sabonis, but like he's making them a great team.
Yeah, Mike Brown, Will Hardy, early Coach of the Year contenders for sure.
Yeah, so
right,
I mean, it's gonna be super interesting to see what kind of noise they make in the postseason because it looks like they're on route to be making some noise. So, all right, should we move on to our next segment, the NFL?
Yeah, boy. How about them Cowboys, boy? Yeehaw!
You brought the hat, baby. Let's go. Is that
Yes,
Chris's hat?
sir.
Oh, this is my hat, son. There we go. Let's talk about them Cowboys. Whoop
Yeah,
them Vikings 40-3, fella.
Sir, best team in the NFL. They dominated the 8-1 Vikings 40-3 in Minnesota. The defense was getting to the quarterback with ease. Like the offense was like not missing a beat.
And can we talk
Yeah.
about Tony Pollard going off on these past 3 weeks?
Tony
At
Pollard and
least
Zeke had a good game too. It's like they have a two-headed monster at running back.
Yeah.
They got decent receivers. Like, so yeah.
I still think though, like Pollard is running back number 1 and Zeke is running back number 2. I just think he's a better running back, but
Yeah, I feel like it's one of those where they both should be starting because Zeke like is better with the short yardage, pass blocking, so on. Pollard's a better receiver, has more explosive. He has more burst and so on.
no, I completely agree. They're definitely 1-2, but like I definitely prefer Pollard over Zeke just because the way he makes explosive plays and his speed and his receiving like ability, but also he's healthy. It's like Zeke. It's like he's always getting hurt. So, but yeah, I thought the Cowboys. I can't tell because Cowboys lost against Green Bay, but then they come this week and beat the Vikings 40-3. So is it to me? It's like, are the Cowboys good? Are the Vikings like considered frauds?
No, the Vikings are definitely frauds, especially with Kirk Cousins. Like they're not going to win anything. The Cowboys, I think, are good. It's just they just had like a slip, basically.
So we got the Cowboys, Bills, Chiefs, like Eagles. I'm just thinking like best teams right now because we're considering
maybe Dolphins, maybe, but we'll see.
I mean, do you think that like everything falls to Dak Prescott for the Cowboys, whether they
if Dak can be like his elite form again, like the Pro Bowl Dak, they're definitely more dangerous than the Eagles, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. They have a solid defense, solid running backs because they're both healthy.
I mean, don't they have one of the highest rated defense?
I feel like they have an elite defense. They have like a extremely solid running back group. The quarterback is in the upper echelon, and then the receivers are like they can beat anybody. So yeah.
Yeah, it's not like a Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle type receiver. They still have good receivers though. So
yeah, but CeeDee Lamb, Gallup, Noah Brown, Dalton Schultz, it's a deep receiver, and they might get
really good. It's a really good group of wide receivers where it's like an equal split, and if you share the ball, you can trust anybody to catch it.
And then like
CeeDee Lamb has definitely taken a step up, and the only reason I know this because I had it for fantasy last year, thinking that he was gonna.
That's how Sam stays updated with NFL news this fantasy.
That's how he got into football. We had to convince him to play fantasy football. Now he's into it.
I took another shot on CeeDee Lamb this year, and he's finally producing. I think he's building that connection with Dak, and he looks good. I mean, I'm not sure if I would call him a superstar yet, but the potential's there.
He's not a superstar, but he's definitely like
he's wide receiver 1.
Really good receiver, yeah. Wide receiver 1 for sure.
Yeah. At least you're not like me who benched Pollard these past 2 weeks.
No, I did the exact same thing. I have him in 2 of my leagues.
If I had a clown mask on, if I had one on the side, I'd put that on over the cowboy hat as well. That's how I feel right now looking at that fantasy box score.
Yeah, but should we talk about Micah Parsons too? Like this dude, he's on his second year and he's putting up numbers. Like this dude,
he's already a top 5 defensive player in the league. He is in the conversation for defensive player of the year. It's probably him, Chris Jones, and we'll see who else. But they're definitely leading it.
Like when they drafted him last year, I knew right away he was a good pick. Like I'm not just saying that because he's good now, but like after watching him in Penn State and seeing him play now, I was like,
nah, Gunnar was like recruiting. He was at Penn State games, like he's the one.
Yeah, he's the one. I mean, I think he's a clear-cut defender. If you look on like any betting site, he has easily the best odds. The next person up is like Matthew Judon, who's a fantastic defensive player, but I don't think he's having like an outstanding season and doing incredible plays as much as like Micah Parsons. But I would say
Parsons is all over the field. So, yeah.
I would say the top 2, even though like odd-wise it's Micah Parsons, Matthew Judon. I think it's Micah Parsons and Nick Bosa. But I think Parsons easily going to take it.
Yeah, I think this is his year.
Yeah. And then I guess flipping to a team who's starting to struggle, I guess, is the Jets choke versus the Patriots. That was, I didn't watch that game, but I know there were 17 punts. which
No,
is insane.
the Jets offense, I think at halftime had like minus 6 yards or some shit, or like
Zach
1
Wilson had
yard.
negative 22 passing yards. That is a real statistic that it is actually on the stat sheet. I just didn't make that up.
Yeah, it looks like this week Zach Wilson is gonna get benched because Robert Saleh was frustrated and wouldn't even like commit to naming him the starter. And he was a former defensive coordinator, so like you can tell he was frustrated that his defense has been consistently good all year, and the offense has been letting them down because like Brees Hall is not there anymore. He's out for the season. So like Zach Wilson has to step up, and he hasn't been doing it.
Well, you can see it when Brees Hall tore like it had an immediate effect on the team, and we're seeing it
Yeah.
now. With his absence, it's a completely different team because they can't rely on him.
Even
like,
his receivers like Garrett Wilson and Elijah Moore.
Elijah Moore doesn't want to be on the team anymore. He wants to leave. He wants to be like, I'm done with this BYU boy.
He posted his story on Instagram of him throwing the ball, and he had the eye emoji. So it's like the team is even after the game, the reporters asked Zach Wilson, "Oh, do you feel like you let the defense down?" And he was like, "No." And like some of the defensive players on the team, like there was stories coming out of some like anonymous sources from the Jets locker room saying like they were shocked, and they were like basically like couldn't believe that he would say that after the game.
It's one thing to have a really bad game and perform that bad, but then to not take any ownership whatsoever and walk around the locker room and the facilities acting like you're not the problem or you're not the reason why you lost the game is insane to me. Especially in that position as being a quarterback. You are the leader of the offense. You are.
It's clear the team doesn't believe in him anymore. It's the exact opposite of Taylor Heineke in Washington, where the team completely believes in him. It's exactly so. The Jets don't believe him, and why should they?
Mike White season, Joe Flacco, he still got some gas in the tank. We'll see.
Flacco was good in his time, so
Flacco won a Super Bowl. Let's not forget that.
Hey, elite,
bro,
elite quarterback. The best postseason
run
as
if you're not a
quarterback
casual, you know Joe Flacco's elite, and I still think he's got some gas in the tank. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
but yeah, that was insane. But I also will notice because we all went to UH. The Patriots player that returned the punt return
Marcus
touchdown.
Jones, baby.
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
Specialist
in college, specialist in the NFL.
Yeah, that's all I got to say. The NFL, that was probably like the most interesting weekend and what occurred. Let's flip into Houston sports. Bilal, Sam, you want to talk about the Texans at all?
Oh, the fucking Texans. So like, I was more mad about this Sunday when I wrote this in the doc and everything, but we knew they were going to lose the game. But like, we better nail this draft. And all these Texans fans who are saying we don't need to draft a quarterback this upcoming draft. They might be right because Caleb Williams, the quarterback from USC, he's going to come in 2024, and he looks like by far the best quarterback. But like, you can't go another season with Davis Mills as your starting quarterback. You just can't. This man is he threw a pick six in the first drive of the game, and like. After the game, like reporters were like grilling Lovie Smith. It was like, the crowd is booing you every time you guys play. You guys aren't improving. You guys aren't learning. Like, what are you all doing? And Lovie Smith basically wouldn't commit to changing the quarterback, and was basically defensive. So
because he's a tank commander. No, we don't. I mean, come on. We're really expecting Lovie Smith out of all people to turn this team around and make them successful.
It's some back-to-back off seasons where the Texans had uninspiring hiring from the head coaches. It was David Culley last year, who like shocked the league, and people were like, "What the fuck are the Texans doing?" This year, Lovie Smith, it's like another guy who's like come in the NFL. He's like gone through and he's failed. Like nobody else is gonna hire him as a head coach.
Yeah, he's had his opportunities and they haven't turned out well. So it's like, are they gonna fire their second coach in 2 years? It's gonna be bad optics, but I feel like they have to do it. But we'll see. Why not just be the tank? Just be the tank commander for another season. Suck again one more, and then just draft Caleb Williams if you're not going to draft a quarterback this upcoming draft in the next one.
I guess. But
it just depends like how long they're gonna spend tanking to build up the rosters. I don't know.
The roster they need to spend money in free agency too. Mm-hmm. You just can't build through the draft in the NFL. Like, the roster has no talent right now. That's why it's surprising that the Raiders are like right with us. Mm-hmm. Like, and the Lions are right with us in like the worst record
The only
conversation.
talent you guys have is Brandon Cooks, who doesn't want to be there anymore,
Mhm.
and then
Which is
Damian
surprising.
Pierce.
Which is surprising because it wasn't Cooks in trade talks, right? To like the last second with the Cowboys, but
It's annoying. He signed an extension in the offseason and now he wants to get traded. Like you knew this team was dog shit. And now
yeah,
you want to get traded, just leave in the offseason. It's the same shit Deshaun did. But yeah. The team is like it needs to be changed. I wish we could my dream would be like getting a new owner, getting a new logo, getting rid of these
That's not
dog
gonna
shit
happen.
jerseys and logos. Yeah, it's not gonna happen, but there needs to be a complete culture change. But it's not. I don't know if
If
it's
this
gonna happen.
podcast blows up and we become billionaires, then we can do it. We collectively pool our money with the group of investors and buy the Houston Texans. Why
just
not?
Bro,
A man
tell
can
Bob
dream, Kenny.
Gunner, tell Chris to tell Bob Iger to retire again, get a group of investors, and buy the Texans, bro.
No, bro, I'm happy he's back at Disney. He's gonna fix it. I will say though, you think with Davis Mills and his like 1 foot long neck, he had better field vision, but I guess not.
Honestly,
So
bro.
he was hyped last season for I'm not sure why I didn't pay
yeah, he
attention to
was.
the
He
Texans,
was playing well.
but a
No,
lot of people
I hyped him up. I can't tell you how many times this offseason I spent like watching Davis Mills highlights at fucking 1 a.m. bro. Like I was that down bad, bro. I was like, hey, you
Man,
could be
this man's
decent.
in bed, like, oh man, he's the future right here watching this moment.
No, like not even the future. I was like,
he's him.
he can't be the future. He's like, I was like, he can't be the future, bro. Look at some of these throws. Like, if he gets a better supporting cast, this man could be him. He's not him, bro.
He's not
He's
him.
he's not him. He's I
Oh.
think at best like a backup quarterback in the league. Bro.
The other great thing about this weekend, Bills won another meme post. If you guys haven't already, go to the Bills social media, go to their last win, and look at their meme post. It is the best thing in social media in terms of professional sports. It's great. Yeah, I love it. So anytime the Bills win, it's a good weekend because I'm gonna watch it.
All right,
Just a little shout out.
Just for sure, check it out.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, now we're gonna transition to our next segment, college football. Right off the bat, the crazy finish with Baylor and TCU.
Okay. If anybody didn't watch this, please.
That game was crazy, bro.
It was crazy.
Paint the picture.
TCU versus Baylor.
Did y'all see that TikTok of that Baylor fan who was like celebrating, and then she saw the field goal team come home, and then she kept the phone on her, and they hit the. She was like shocked.
Bro, you should have
like,
put that. You should have put that in the doc so I could watch it.
Nah.
But essentially, like what TCU had like 45 seconds, basically less than a minute to get down the field. They're marching down the field, burning through their timeouts. There's like 22, 25 seconds left in the game. They run the ball, which was insane. There's no timeouts. They can't stop the clock.
I think it was like 17 seconds, bro. And then
you're right. It was even less time. I'm giving them too much time. They run the ball out of nowhere. There's no timeouts. You think they're going to line up and spike it. They don't spike it because actually it's like what, 3rd and 7 when they ran it?
I think so. I don't know. I'm not sure, but yeah.
The offense runs off the field and the field goal unit comes rushing in with
it was a fire drill, yeah. And then
basically like a Chinese fire drill, like you're switching seats in a car. The field goal unit comes down, snaps the ball, and hits a buzzer beater for the win.
It was less than 13 seconds transition between those
and
two.
TCU kept their perfect season, so yeah.
Yeah. And like they sealed their college playoffs. What's crazy to me is at the end of the day, at the end of the game, coach was like, yeah, we practice that like every Thursday. It looks more hectic than it. I'm like, what? You guys practice that kind of scenario and like prepare? That was crazy. It was a great game, and I'm glad I watched it. It was fun. It was exciting. That's what I love about college football, and the same thing with college basketball, because you never know what's going to happen until the game's completely over.
Yeah, and then next, let's transition to Illinois versus Michigan.
Yeah, I'm going to wrap up this college football segment. We had Illinois versus Michigan. I'm only bringing this up because Michigan was slow start to the game, and that concerns me because this upcoming weekend they're playing against Ohio State.
Oh, see, yeah, that game's gonna be crazy. Rivalry.
My money is on Ohio State.
Every time OSU Michigan, you got to bet on Ohio State regardless.
Yeah, I've never betted before, but I think this weekend I'm gonna make a bet, boys.
No, but with Michigan won last year, but you still got to bet OSU.
Yeah. With that being said, though, and the reason why I'm picking OSU, I think OSU has a better defense against Michigan's offense. Michigan has a great running back, number 2, Blake Cormier. Am I saying that right?
I think he's a freshman, right?
He's a monster. And I know they have another running back. They have a good 1-2 combo punch. But the problem is Michigan's quarterback isn't the best. He's nowhere compared to CJ Stroud. So
Yeah,
I just
CJ
think when you
Stroud.
look
Yeah.
at both sides of the ball, I think Ohio State is just better. So that's why I'm going with the pick. And then last thing, not last thing. And with that being said, if or when Ohio State or Michigan, whoever loses, you really do have a chance of USC being able to enter the college playoffs. That's what I think is going to happen. One of these teams is going to lose. They're going to be pushed out, and I think USC is going to take that spot. So I think we're looking at a Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, or USC, and a TCU playoff. So we're going to see what happens. And then the last thing I want to bring up, unfortunately, Tennessee lost against South Carolina, and more importantly, their star quarterback, Hendon Hooker, tore his ACL. Volunteers were already out of playoff contention. They were going to make playoffs, but I really feel for him because he had the potential to be drafted in NFL as a late 4th, 5th round pick,
Yeah,
but
he was already going to be like a late pick because he's like 26. But like
yeah.
he might be undrafted because of this. So which
Yeah,
sucks.
it sucks to see because it's a young man's future and he can make a good amount of money being in the league, and if he doesn't do anything crazy. So it's just something I wanted to bring up, and it's sad to see. But that's all I got in the college football world. I just wanted to say my 2 cents.
I just want to add one thing related to college football. I don't know if y'all played the NCAA college football games.
Oh, yes, sir.
Last one came out in 2014. Janelle Robinson was a cover athlete, but they announced a couple years ago that was coming back in 2023. Everything was set. They had the licenses from all the conferences and so on. But today we got the unfortunate news that it's been delayed a year. It's going to come in 2024 because they're trying to add like real players into the game with the NIL deals and so on. So they're just trying to incorporate that and see how that goes.
Do you think EA is just going to make another shitty football game and just use it to people buy freaking Madden NCAA coins or whatever? Or do you think it's going to be a decent game?
I think it's going to be decent because like the NCAA football games are always better than the Madden games because they focus a lot on dynasty mode. That's the number one thing.
Yeah.
Where you like, and they said they're building a new game completely from scratch. So hopefully it's not like on Madden's engine. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But I'm still excited for it. It's just sad.
I'm excited, man.
All right.
We just gotta wait it out.
And then Bilal, you're gonna close us off with F1.
Yes, sir.
F1. So I'm just gonna do a quick run through from this. It was the last race of the season. Charles Leclerc and Sergio Perez were tied coming into the race for second place, and Leclerc ended up winning out. He's P2 in the championship. Sebastian Vettel, who's a 4-time world champion, he's like one of the most beloved figures in the sport. It was his last race of the season, so everyone was sad, and it's gonna be tough to see him to go. But hope people are saying he might come back because in F1, like comebacks are kind of common if you leave the sport. So we'll see about that. There's news that there's gonna be an American F1 driver next year, Logan Sargent, who's the Formula 2 Rookie of the Year. So some American fans are excited about that. And Haas, which is like a mean team, they replaced their young driver Nick Schumacher with Nico Hulkenberg, who's been out of the sport for 3 years.
That's insane.
As a main driver, he's been a reserve driver, but yeah, that's about the run through.
Where do you think Schumacher's going to go? Last question before we end. I want your take.
I think he's going to be the reserve driver for Mercedes. They've already been linked. So
sounds about right.
All right,
that's a wrap.
And I think that concludes our podcast, guys.